month, we have Julie and Kelly, who are two of our amazing parent educators with Parents as Teachers. They are going to talk to us about love and logic. So Kelly and Julie, it's all yours.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so welcome to Love and Logic. What is Love and Logic? Parenting with Love and Logic is a process by which children grow through their mistakes and learn from the consequences of their choices. And there's so much information to talk about, but we're going to kind of try to break it down as we go along, so it's not so confusing and overwhelming. First, wanted to tell you a little bit about ourselves. These are my beautiful kids. That is Lana and Landon. I started this program when they were about this little, and now my daughter is 14 and my son is going to be 12 in a couple weeks. So it's a great process, lots of wonderful information that can go from when they're little to where they are now. It's something you can keep with you forever. So these are my two kiddos.
And here, whoops.
Sorry, Julie.
Were my two kiddos.
Sorry.
The picture of my kiddos on the snow bunny was when I first learned about Love and Logic. It really did change our whole family atmosphere. It was great. I found myself being that. I do everything for my kids. They did nothing, and they were spoiled rotten. They still are a little spoiled, but anyway. So the program really did help our whole family atmosphere. I will say I'm one of the older ones of the group, and I have both my kiddos are now young adults. Our son there, Connor, is 19, and our daughter is 22. Her name is Kaylee. Connor is in college, going to be a mechanic, and Kaylee wants to be a pharmacist. So I will say the program does help them, and I am proud to say that they are thriving most of the time on their own as young adults with some real good background from Love and Logic to help them a lot along their whole childhood. So,
okay. What is parenting with Love and Logic? So this is kind of a long explanation, but my husband was asking about it the other day. What is Love and Logic? Why do this? And I gave him this paragraph and read this to him, and he was like, oh, that totally makes sense. Okay. Many parents want their kids to be well prepared for life, and they know this means kids will make mistakes and must be held accountable for those mistakes. Love and Logic parenting teaches parents how to hold their kids accountable in a loving way, which causes the child to see the parent as the good guy and the child's behavior or poor decision, as the bad guy. When done on a regular basis, kids develop an internal voice that says, I wonder how my next decision is going to affect me. Kids who develop this internal voice become more capable of standing up to peer pressure and are better prepared for the real world with its many choices and consequences. So it's that in a nutshell. Like Julie said, I have a daughter who's going to high school next year. I want her to be able to stand up to that peer pressure, be prepared for the real world. And our kids aren't bad. They're wonderful, beautiful, amazing kids. It's just their decisions sometimes is the bad guy. But we want them to look at us as parents as the good guy. We're just helping them make these decisions.
when we talk about Love and Logic, it's one of those things I'm sure we all can say. We have had those tough times when our kids are having little temper tantrums, they're talking back, they're whining. We want, like Kelly was saying, we want to raise them so they can be responsible and they make the bad choice. Oh, bummer. How are you going to fix it? So hopefully these techniques that we're going to share today are going to help when it comes to having those arguments and those overall power struggles with your own children. That hopefully this will give you some really good ideas to kind of help in those areas.
Okay, so the rules for love and logic. There's 2 rules. Adults set limits without anger, lectures, threats, and repeated warnings. And trust me, I know that can be difficult sometimes. 2, when children cause problems, adults handle these problems back in loving ways. So love allows children to grow through their mistakes, and logic allows them to learn from the consequences of their choices. Um, it's kind of an approach where, as a parent, you change the way you talk to your children. You set the expectations by what you say, and they make a choice so they can become independent problem solvers. They're going to have to go out in the world someday and solve these problems on their own. And this is just a way to help them accomplish that. And it's tricky. I'm a parent, we get angry or upset once in a while, but this is just a great way to help with some of those situations. And we'll give lots of examples here in a little bit. The foundation. Okay, in this behavior, or in this approach, there are 4 components that support love and logic. There's shared control. So you gain control by giving away the control you don't need, and often the control you don't even have to begin with. It's shared thinking and decision making. So you provide opportunities for the child to do the greatest amount of thinking and decision making. You pair it with equal shares of consequences with empathy. An absence of anger causes a child to think and learn from his or her mistakes. And it also helps maintain the child's self-concept. Increased self-concept leads to improved behavior and improved achievement. So, Julie.
I think it's important when we look at our own parenting style and how we raise our children. As a parent, you'll think back as to how you were raised as a parent, and we're going to discuss 3 different styles. The first style is a great picture here on the bottom that shows kind of that overall helicopter parent. This parent really kind of does hover, they rescue, they protect their kiddos. Of course, as a parent, you want to keep your child safe and of course keep them, not any kind of concern or safety issue, of course, keep them safe. But you send messages like, oh, you're too fragile. You can't make it without me. You need to have me to help you get through life. That is one style. I found, honestly, I was more of this parent when my kids were much younger. And I felt I had to kind of step back and think, wait a minute, I do so much for them. They need to be their own independent thinkers. What can I kind of give up and let them kind of take over? And it made their self-esteem be higher because sure, I made that choice. Oh, good. I'm glad I made that choice. On the other hand, I did that. I probably shouldn't have. I will say this past weekend, my son comes home from school. Mom, I have no clean clothes that I brought home. Oh, bummer. How are we going to fix this problem, Connor? Well, doing some laundry and that helped, but I could have, I'll come wash them. No, I stepped back and said, oh no, what should we do? And it really did help. But I did not take over. So I was this parent before, I will say. So the next one is?
The next style of parenting is the drill sergeant parent. So this kind of parent demands that the children do it now, their way. They send messages like, you can't, by doing that, you have to put your clothes away right now. You need to do the dishes, set the table, do it right now, my way. You're sending messages that say, you can't think, I have to do the thinking for you and boss you around and tell you what to do. And it's kind of saying you aren't capable of making it through life. And I know that's hard too, because you think as parents, I need to tell you to do these things. You need to do your homework, pick up the toys. But this is another style of parenting that a lot of parents are like, and hopefully we'll give you those one-liners like Julie was talking about just a second ago to help you in those situations.
The third type of parenting is more of that, a consultant parent. We're not saying any of these without one bad, one's good. I think more along this line is how a love and logic parent is. These types of parents always are around to give advice, and they really kind of let the child make the decision, with the idea that let the child make as many mistakes as needed until it's actually taken care of. They send more of a message like, you better do your own thinking because the quality of your life has a lot to do with your own decisions. It puts the kids back in control. I found as a logic parent, it was more, I had to change my style of what I said and how I said it. It was more like, I will do this when, instead of being that drill sergeant, get this done right now, this room is a mess. But I had to use my words of the I statements to get things accomplished and be there for the advice. I'm getting advice still to my kids and they're older, but you never are gonna lose that, hopefully you won't lose that overall communication with your child in that way, but you're always there to help them if needed.
Right. The 5 steps to guiding children to own and solve their own problems. I know this is so much information. Love and Logic has books and books and books, and I feel bad overwhelming you with all this information, but it's so good. We tried to pick out the top things for you guys. The 5 steps to guiding them to solve their problems. How do we do this? Well, you start with empathy. How sad. Oh, I bet that hurts. And we'll give you, after this slide, more examples on that empathy piece. The second one is send a powerful message. What do you think you're going to do? That's so sad. What do you think you're going to do? The third one is offering choices. Would you like to hear what other kids have tried? Here are some suggestions. So at this point, you offer a variety of choices if they want to hear those choices from you. Bless you. It's usually best to start out with the poor choices. Each time a choice is offered, go on to step 4, forcing the child to state the consequence in his or her own words. So the next one is state the consequence. Well, how will that work? So it's just like a whole paragraph of what you say to different situations. Give permission for the child to either solve the problem or not solve the problem. Good luck. I hope it works for you. So an example I have about this is, like, my son got not a great grade on his test, and he gets in the car. He says, Mom, I didn't do good on my test. I don't even remember, got a bad grade. And instead of reacting and saying, Landon, what happened? Why did that happen? Did you study enough? I started with these kind of 5 steps. How sad. Oh, that's a bummer. Then what do you think you're going to do about that next time? How can we change that? How can we fix it? And he might have said, I don't know. And then I say, well, would you like to hear some suggestions? Some choices, some things that could help you with that? Sure, Mom, fine, and I give a couple of suggestions, and he might say, one might be, maybe you should study a little more in, the evening, or type out your notes. No, that won't work. That won't make it any better, is how he might respond. And he might choose something like, read the notes again, or something totally different than what I would recommend. And I say, well, how do you think that'll work? Our mornings are crazy, busy, how will that work? And he might have told me, I'll just make it work, Mom. I'll pack my lunch before, the night before. I'll get up earlier, And I say, good luck. I hope that works for you. But that's kind of putting that whole situation, having him think through it, problem solve, instead of me just saying, you need to study more next time, or you need to do this. It helped him go from A to B to think through the whole process. And you know what? Actually, the next week he had a test and he came home and had it all figured out, and he did much better. It made him more aware of his grades, more what he needed to change this time. And it was a beautiful conversation between the two of us, instead of a big argument or a fight or him getting upset. So it's just remembering these steps when that situation comes up. So what are some empathetic statements? Okay, Jim Fay, who teaches Love and Logic, shared these statements, and he put it in such a great way. He said these statements are kind of what you start the conversation with, and they're so wonderful because it helps de-escalate you as a parent, as a mama or a dad. Instead of that, I'm angry, it's that, oh, and it's kind of that deep breath we need to take before having that conversation with our child, or that, oh man, what a bummer. So sad. But what you have to be careful about with these is you have to avoid sarcasm at all costs. My son got in the car and I said, what a bummer. He's like, are you being sarcastic? Like, no, that's a bummer. That is really a bummer, because they'll catch on to that as they get older. They can hear that in your voice. And so you just have to not have sarcasm with that. Like, that is so sad. I'm so sorry you didn't do well on your test. That's sad. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, our next one, Julie.
I love how Kelly said it, and it's a good point. Like you're saying, oh man, as families that have young toddlers, and let's say your kid wanted that cookie before dinner and you wouldn't let him do it or let him have that cookie. And your toddler's having this big, huge fit, and you just simply very calmly say, uh-oh. We as parents can't get angry saying, uh-oh. It's just not possible, I don't think. And so the whole idea of what Jim and Charles Fay were talking about was, and I think first, I like to make sure families are aware of that. When they have any kind of discipline issue, there's a reason for the behavior. It's their way of communication. And it's that fact where if they're having their temper tantrum and you know that they were hungry, well then, next time, let's make sure we give them that snack beforehand. But when it comes to something like they've done this bad thing and you need to remove them from the activity, a simple way to say it is, uh-oh, time for little bedroom time. Come out when you're happy and take them to their room and let them stay there until they're calm. When they're calm, they can come back out, and that's okay for you to say, I see that you're getting calm. I'm going to set my timer here for 2 minutes. They're 2 years old. And if you're still calm, let's talk about that. They're kind of still being in charge, in that when they're calm, they're going to come back out. You're going to remove them from that, whatever they were getting upset about, and let them calm down. If it's one where you can ask the question, do you want the door open or closed? If they're going to slam it, then maybe you keep it open. I've seen families take the whole door frame off, the door off the hinges, and that becomes a closing door issue. But it's okay to say, feel free to come back out whenever you're being sweet. And understanding when they're talking about with the kids in a regular happy time, oh, you're being so happy and sweet now because you're not yelling, because you're playing with me. That makes me happy. You're explaining what that acting sweet means so they know. You're not lecturing then. If you talk when they're at this big escalating problem, I'm not even gonna listen to you then. Wait until they're calm. They've come back out of their room when they're calm, and then they're calm. You have that timer set. Oh, good. I can see you were mad. I wonder what we should do next time. Instead of throwing our toy, what should we do? So try to stay calm. I think this is a really good point when they are saying, you, as a parent, you say, uh-oh, time for a little bedroom time. That just kind of gives you some time to calm down, as well as the actual child too.
And you know what? We had a question about what if I use uh-oh if somebody, I use uh-oh a lot when they drop a toy or break it, but they're not in trouble. Just find the word that works for you guys. And if it's not uh-oh, because you use that, if they drop a cup, but they're not really in trouble, then use that, oh, bummer, or oh, that makes mommy sad. Like, find your word, that same calm word that helps you take action, if that makes sense. Okay, consequences versus punishment. So consequences expressed with empathy will place the child in the thinking, decision-making mode, and the problem will become the bad guy, not the parent. Punishment usually elicits an emotional response, a desire on the part of the child to become sneaky rather than more responsible, and the parent becomes the bad guy, not the problem. So I have this funny little story. My son was maybe 3 years old, and my sister had given him a Toys R Us, when it was still around, a Toys R Us gift card. And great present for a 3-year-old. And I had my 5-year-old, and we go to Toys R Us, and my son looks around, and oh my goodness, I want everything in the whole store. I want everything possible. I had to get a birthday present for my little girl's birthday party, and my son is 3, doesn't understand that he cannot have every toy in the store. He just can't. It's not possible. I gave choices. I started with that empathy, helped him think about it. And he's only 3, but I just talked with him through it, how he had to choose between the 2 toys he had picked out. And he got very mad and upset and temper tantrum and crying on the floor in Toys R Us. And, I could have punished him, but that's an emotional response from me. And that's making him mad at me. I could have pulled him out of Toys R Us, yelled at him. I could have yelled at him in the store, but that's making me the bad guy. And he had a choice to make. He had to figure out which toy he wanted. And so I wanted that problem to become the bad guy, not me. So I said, buddy, take your time. I love you. Think about which one you want. Think about it. I'm going to be right here. I'm checking out with this birthday present with my daughter. And believe me, my face turned bright red. My son screaming bloody murder. People were walking by looking at me, but I knew he needed to take a moment and think about it. And he's only 3, but I knew he could do it. And I checked out, and all of a sudden he wiped his tears. He picked up one toy, and he came over to me and he said, "This one, Mama." And he hugged my leg, and I said, "Okay, buddy, you want this toy?" And he's like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So we checked out with that toy, and we walked out, and he was fine. He made a decision. He knew there was that empathy in place, and he learned a great lesson then, instead of me taking him out of the store. So it's kind of the difference between those consequences and punishments. And he still loved me. He said he loved me, and it was fine.
That's good.
Okay.
Important, you're talking about these different tips, is really, you want to make sure you have a consequence. Always say what you're going to do, not what you think you should do. I had a family one time, I was at a visit, and the dad said, "You don't clean up right now, Miss Julie is gonna have to leave our house forever." And I'm like, wait a minute, really? You're gonna let your 3-year-old decide if I should come back or not to your home, but this kid won't clean up his own toys? No, you need to make sure that you can follow through. If you're gonna say you can't have iPad for a week, can you really follow through with that? That could be a great thing. Sometimes to stick and let them have their own time, but if it's something you want to do, go ahead and do it. But make sure you do follow through with that consequence. You want to make sure that you also only speak your perspective, because you're the only one who can control it. And then make sure, like I said, you really can enforce it. I have to tell you a funny story. When my kids are about 6 and 3, and I had told them we're going to go to Alligator Creek, to the splashdown in O'Fallon. I said, okay, if you two can make good choices and you can listen to the lifeguards to play well with others and are happy, then when we're all done, I'm gonna bring all the toys and I'll take care of my job, but your job is to listen to the lifeguards, be nice to each other. When we're done, we can go get a Sonic slushie. They love slushies. Oh, yay, Mom. Okay, I'll be good. Okay, great. So we go. Well, it was an awful experience for the kids. They were fighting like cats and dogs. Kaylee was caught running, not walking along the edge, and she had to go sit out, and like, oh, well, too bad. So I went back. We all got back in the car, and I had all the toys I brought with me. I brought them all back with me in the car. And I said, okay, kids, were you guys good today? Did you, do what you're supposed to do? Well, Connor said, I was fighting with Kaylee. I wanted that bucket. Oh, bummer. And Kaylee, Mom, I had to sit out because I ran. The lifeguard told me I couldn't. And I said, oh, man. I said, but you know what? Mommy made the right choices. Mommy brought all the toys back. I got her safely. So we're going to go to Sonic still. And I got my Sonic slushie. It was delicious. Yes, the kids did not get one. They cried the whole way home. It was awful for me as a parent, but I guarantee it, the next time we went out and I said, oh, if we make it, be good at the park today, we'll go get whatever it was. They were good because, again, I followed through what I said I was going to do. Now, could I have gotten a slushie? I could have, but then I wanted to be able to teach them that no, Mommy wasn't going to follow through with what Mommy said was going to happen. It wasn't a good choice for them, but I still wanted my really good orange cream slush, and I was good, Mom. So we're going to go. So you really, it's hard, a hard thing to do as a parent, but in the long run, it did help them realize that, oh yeah, Mom's going to follow through with what I said I was going to do. So make that consequence something you really can follow through with.
Yeah, that was great, Julie. Instead of saying like, we won't be able to come back to the pool anymore.
Right. Right.
Because I don't know if you can follow through with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could.
No, I couldn't.
So some enforceable statements, just like Julie was saying, this is an example of, instead of stop all that bickering, I charge $2 per minute for listening to brothers and sisters fight. This is why I love and logic, because in one situation you hear when they're little how you can use these, and the next you can use it with your 14-year-old. I mean, the same thing just happened. My daughter had an application she had to turn in, and she really thought she could mail it the day it was due. She thought, I can mail it in the mailbox on the due date and it'll get there on time. I said, well, it sounds like you have two choices. Let's talk about how the mail works. Let's talk about it. And after we went through that, you can turn it in the mail, but it'll be late. It'll be late. Or, that's a long drive. Mom's busy, gas. I think I might have charged her $4 for gas money and my time to go drop it off at the school. And I said, so those are your choices. You can mail it and it'll be late, your application, or you can pay me the gas money and time to go and drop it off. She said, I guess I'll pay you the money. And I think she learned a valuable lesson about the mail, due dates, and how that works. You know, I don't love taking her money, but it was a good conversation about the consequence that matches kind of the behavior. I could have said, all right, Lana, I'll take it up for you. No problem. But you have to look at those even when they're older. Is this a teachable moment? And will they learn? Because she only has 4 years till college. We got to figure some of this stuff out. So I love it that it works from 2 to 20s, you know. Delaying the consequence. Delaying the consequence gives you time to think of a good one and allows you a chance to get ideas from other people and get the support you'll need to carry out your plan. And you might say, Kelly, something happens, I got to have a consequence right now. And that's not always true. It's not always true. Sometimes the consequence, or delaying it, is the consequence in itself. When a problem arises, you need to delay it. Just say, oh no, that's sad. I'm going to have to do something about this, but not now, later. Try not to worry about it. And sometimes that statement is the consequence in and of itself. Let the child think they've gotten away with it, and then put a plan with help from others and carry out the plan if the child refuses to solve the problem. If there's a situation that happens and you need to talk to your significant other, or you just don't know, gosh, if I take away this, it's not working. They don't care. I need another idea. Just simply say that. And that does work. I've had situations where I've had to delay the consequence with my kids. You just have to, as a parent, remember to come back and talk about it. But saying, we need to think about this a little bit, go to school, have a great day, I love you, but we'll talk about this when you get home, is totally fine and wonderful. And sometimes that nervousness of thinking about what the consequence will be is the consequence, and you have a better conversation with your child later about it too, than in that heat of the moment yelling at each other.
One that really helped me a lot with this approach was the idea of giving choices. The child makes the choice as to what's going to happen. And it's then it gives them control. When giving them choices, really begin with a phrase, what will be best for you? Would you rather this? For example, I had a family talking a while ago about they had a hard time getting their kid dressed in their pajamas. So it's something they would just say, would you rather get your jammies on before you brush your teeth or after? So Julie, it was huge. They were in charge. Well, I'll brush my teeth first. Okay. And then follow through. Again, it's that follow through. If they said they would do this first, then we're going to do this. Only give choices where you know they're going to be happy about it. I think I want to give personally, when our kids are maybe about 4 and maybe 7, we went to McDonald's for a Happy Meal. And okay, what do you want? It's too overwhelming. Okay, do you want a Happy Meal cheeseburger or a hamburger? You make the choice, or I'll make the choice for you. Well, the kid kept whining, my dear beloved son. Well, then I'll decide. You're going to get the cheeseburger. Of course, when we got his food, I want a hamburger. Well, bummer. I'm so sorry. I hope next time you make the choice when I asked the first time. And I guarantee the next time he did. But again, I had to make that choice so that they could they were in charge. And then again, I followed through. I didn't go say, man, we have a hamburger instead. Nope. I kept that cheeseburger and he had to eat that, or, oh, bummer, I hope we have enough food until dinner time later. But giving them choices really does help the kids and empowers them to be happy too. I made a good, like you mentioned with your son, Kelly, he was so happy and proud. He got that toy from Toys R Us. I out, woohoo. He was in charge of that.
Yeah.
And it made you as a parent, but you can offer those choices and then follow through.
Yeah, I love choices. Even just the other morning, hair was a mess. And I said, you can brush it or I can brush it. Those are your choices.
Mhm.
And I have to be okay with whatever they choose. So when you think about your choices, you have to think about, are you okay with either one they choose?
Right.
And
Right.
he chose to do his own hair. I knew, it will still look a little crazy, but I had to be okay with it. And he went, he did it, and I had to let it go. Just let it go. He chose. I gave him those two choices, and he chose, and that's okay.
Right. I too, another thing I'm going to share. When Connor was younger, he loved it. He wears shorts pretty much all winter, all summer, spring, fall. It's shorts. So I'm like, as a parent, oh my gosh, it's going to be cold in his, shorts. I said, okay, do you want to carry your coat or wear the coat? I'll carry it with me. So at least he had a coat. If he wore it or not, that's his choice. But at least he had it with them. So
yeah, and that one's even on this.
there you go. Okay.
Some examples. Are you going to bed now, or would you like to wait 10 minutes or 15 minutes? That one says, do you want to put on your pajamas first or brush your teeth? Do you want to wear the blue shirt or the green shirt? It's giving those choices. Love and logic one-liners. Oh, this is one of Julie and I's favorite parts. We love this. Use the one-liners when an explanation is not necessary or it's going to cause an argument. Don't be afraid to be a broken record. I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a second. Try these one-liners. Pick one or two that work for you. Your one or two may be different than my one or two. There's nice try, probably so. I love you too much to argue. I have a child who loves to argue. I mean, he would argue that the sky is purple. He loves to argue all the time with me. He's very strong-willed. And these are amazing. You should just try them. I use the one, I love you too much to argue. And it just kind of becomes, how can he argue back with me about that? If I say, you need to put your shoes away. Well, I don't want to put my shoes away. Can I watch TV now? Nobody, I need you to put your shoes away. You can keep going back and forth. But if you just say, I love you too much to argue with you, and then walk away, they just don't have anything else they can say. There's nothing they can say. And I giggled about the broken record part because sometimes I will have to say it 5 times and it's just being a broken record. I love you too much to argue. But I want to do this now. I love you too much to argue. Mom, I love you too much to argue. And then I'll say something else. And sometimes now he's like, drives me crazy. Why do you always say that? And 9 times out of 10, he just stops. I love you too much to argue. And he goes and does what he's supposed to do because he can't. I just keep repeating it. And we're not in a big argument. And it's true. I love you so much, but I'm not going to argue with you about this anymore. I think Julie has had some great situations with one-liners too.
Yeah, I wanted to share when I asked my kid, I said, okay, Mom's doing this talking love and logic for work. What do you remember me saying when you were younger? I love you too much to argue. It was the first thing both of my kids said. And it was true. Even a couple of weeks ago, I just sat with my son. I said, I'm done with what you're arguing. I walked away. Our daughter was one that she was the mother hen, firstborn, everything's gonna be just right. And she would tattletale on Connor constantly. I finally found myself saying, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And Mom, go fix, I'm the mom here, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that information. Thanks so much. And she's tired of saying, I'm like, oh, finally. But she would tattletale on Connor all the time. But it really it just made her realize that she can just go be a kid and I'll take care of the mom role here. And I will make sure he's making good choices. But I was in charge, that she didn't have to worry about it, but I'll take care of it. So that one really helped me too. And the kids were definitely bickering a lot, or the, I'm gonna, take them off in a way that helped a lot too. So I think it's important as a parent, a lot of information we're going to share with you all today, but really pick a couple of things you just want to try at home and see, oh yeah, or a hard thing, like when my kiddos were younger, was the getting ready for school in the morning. What's something that I could do to make it better, to make the morning routine better? I found if the TV was on, they were distracted. So I made a family rule. Okay, we're going to leave the TV off until we're ready for school. So kids that are ready for school, then I'll turn the TV on. But you have to, find what works for you. We're sharing a lot of information, like I said today, but find what works for you that you want to help change in your own family lifestyle.
And some of it, like just the choices, or pick one of these one-liners and just keep practicing it and practicing saying those things or giving choices, and it doesn't work. And these are just some more. I'm going to show a video about what they say about it on YouTube. It's a great video. Let's see. Oops. Sorry.
What's the first step when a kid whines or argues? Let's hear it. Go.
Oh,
Brain dead. Very good. The second step, you pick one statement. Yeah, do just exactly the same thing the kids do. You pick one statement, repeat it over and over again. What's my very favorite? Oh, there you go. Love you too much to argue. See, and why do you smile when you're saying it? Because you want the kid to think, my mommy's smiling. No problem for her, possible big problem coming up for me. So I'm going to be the kid and you be the adult, and I want you to stick with just that one. Love you too much to argue, right? And, just imagine Clint Eastwood in those old movies, remember? Love you too much to argue, right? Yeah. No, it does have to be loving. Okay, so I'm going to be the kid, you be the parent. You don't love me, you hate me. Well, mommy's nice. Well, I hate love and logic. No, you don't laugh at the kid, for crying out loud. You get the idea. Make it simple for you. Just pick one statement. I met a lady who's even got a simpler way of doing it. When the kids say things like, I don't want to go to school because they abuse children there. What does she say? Oh. And that's it. Or argues. Let's hear it. Go.
Sorry. I hit it again. Get my screen back. It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh. Thank you. That's still looking. Technology. Awesome.
And I love it.
No, it's so fun. I do like that clip though. I think he makes it fun for parents. And I think the both of you of just choose one thing that's always going to come out of your mouth. You're really just concentrating on one thing today, picking that and working on it. And then you can add so many more. I love all of the options that you guys have given us.
I think choices too has been so helpful. When my kids were younger and they wouldn't sit down to eat, they would jump around. Okay, do you want to stand or sit to eat tonight? Something as simple as that can just totally change. You're still gonna get what you want to get done. They're hopefully gonna eat, but they're making the choice. You know, my kids realized that they're kind of short. It was kind of hard to get up there and get up off the table. Well, that was their choice.
Right.
Next time we're gonna sit down. Okay, great idea. I'm sitting too. Oh,
My computer is being funny. I'm gonna keep playing with this. I think the next, I'm not sure what happened. But we'll get it.
I know a question that was asked before. I'll go ahead and try to answer it now. There's many families here sent in some ideas for questions that they wanted to ask. I had a mom ask, I've had to ask my toddler 10 times to do something and I still don't do it. What should I do? And I guess my question would be, why are you asking the question 10 times? I think a lot of this approach in Love and Logic is the kids really have to understand that you're going to say it one time and then have a consequence and follow through with it. So really it's that, I know it's exhausting being a parent. I know it is, but I would follow through, get up, time, little bedroom time. You didn't come to mom and dad when I asked you to. Really can help when it comes to that kind of a question, you know, that just follow through. You don't have to wait 10 times them to do it. Just do it. Just to do it one time. No, another question was asked about kids that were fighting. I think it's really important talking about, you know, sharing toys with other kiddos and they're having a hard time with that. And as a parent, just model it. Model that taking turns with your child. You have a cookie, I have a bite, you have a bite. Can really help sometimes when it comes to that. And talking about emotions too. Oh, bummer, I can see you're really mad. I'd be mad too if I couldn't get that. But hopefully that can help. I know the parent asked about that.
I've got it up. You guys saw it. I'm just getting
good.
to our page
Oh, okay.
that we were at.
Another parent had asked about hitting. What do you do if the child is hitting? I think that's a great time to use that uh-oh song. Uh-oh, you can see they're hitting and you're not using your hands nicely. Time for a little bedroom time. Come out when you can use your hands nicely and then put them in their room. A lot of times, just that when we move from that activity is a good enough consequence for their action for sure.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm not sure what happened. Julie, this is your energy drain, I think.
Right. And this is where, again, as a parent, it's exhausting. And this is a great one-liner we can use. Oh, so much energy. And so let's sit here and we can go ahead and watch the video.
This unforgettable vacation memory. It didn't actually
Who wants to go on a vacation?
begin here. This memory began when Dad booked his family's summer vacation.
Well, here's one more quick little technique, and you can start using it when your kids are about 3, but definitely by the time they're 4. It's called the energy drain. Yeah, anytime your kid does something that is upsetting, have an energy drain, but act excited about it. So let me ask you, if a kid lies to you, does it drain your energy? How about if they whine at you? How about if they're clingy? How about if they break something? Anything fits, right? It's a generic consequence. So she started experimenting. Every time he would say the word, she'd say, oh, energy drain. And then she'd say this, how are you going to put the energy back in? See, when you swear, say that word, it drains energy out of mama. See, that's the energy drain technique. You say, oh, energy drain. Then you go to the kid a little bit later on and say, when you fill in the blank with a misbehavior, it really drains energy. How are you going to put it back in? Then you give them some options. Some kids decide to clean the toilets. Something about that just charges me up. Now, some kids decide to hire Mabel for a night so I can go out with your dad. Boy, does that, no, I don't like her. Doesn't she get around to that Mabel? Now, some kids decide that they're going to go out in the yard and clean up all that dog doo-doo. How would that work for you? No. Well, then you put a time limit. If you haven't put my energy back in by such and such a time, I'll take care of it. And what does that mean? Well, sometimes you have to take a toy for payment, right? Well, she's doing this, and she stumbles upon the whole idea of dusting, which is wonderful for little kids. He has this little sock over his hand, and he's dusting the house. It's his way of repaying energy for saying that word. She said the house looked great up to about here. But he said, I don't think it's working, because he's happy when he does it. Here's the great news. A kid can actually be happy when they're repaying your energy, and it'll still work. Because why are they happy? They feel good about themselves. So here he is, he's toddling around, and pretty soon she notices that the word is she's not hearing it much anymore. Now, my guess is that the chore wasn't really what made the word go away. What really made the word go away? Mom wasn't reacting the same way. Instead of saying, don't you say that word, she said, oh, energy drain, again, actually being excited about the problem. Well, it all worked pretty well. She wrote in her letter until one day, I'm heading down I-70. I'm going to merge onto I-25 going south. Horrible traffic. This guy almost runs me off the road. It just slipped out. And being a psychologist, she said, I went into denial. I kept saying to myself, he couldn't have heard that word. His ears are too small to hear a word like that. She tilted the mirror down so she could see him in the back seat. There he is in his car seat, the center of the universe. And what does she see in that mirror? Oh, mommy, energy. What do you say to a little kid who nails you like that? You want to hear what she said? She just looked up that mirror and she said, well, honey, you think an ice cream cone would put your energy back in? There he is in the back. I think I help. You guys have.
All right. That's kind of like my son told me the other day. I love you too much to argue with you, Mom. I love you too much to argue. He brought it right back to me. And this, I think, this is really hard to read right here, but it's available if you guys want the handout. It's on our website, I believe. You guys can get it. It just kind of walks through everything you just watched, how it works step by step, that energy drain.
I was just going to add too, I'm amazed sometimes that when the kids kind of have to help think of the consequence, then they make it really harder than I thought it ever going to be. You know, they make it harder on them as it was their choice. Like, you're going to do that for the whole week? You can't watch TV? Okay, let's see how that's going to work for us. You know.
Yep.
I love this slide. I think really, again, as a parent, figure out something that you could definitely say. Quit arguing with me, or I'll listen when your voice is calm. My favorite one is for young family, if the child is whining, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Please talk to me in a 3-year-old voice. You're stating your expectation in a very calm way and not give in when they're still being whiny. You're being very empathetic. I want to hear you, but I can't understand you when you're whining. Please talk to me in a big girl voice. I'll be happy to help you zip up your coat when I see you that you've tried first. That I'll be happy to let you play in the park as soon as your homework is done. I'll be happy to make lunch for those children in my house that have cleaned up their playroom. It's all how you say it as a parent. It's not this way, it's not that way, but your comment is you're staying calm, you're following through with your consequence is important to do.
Instead of you're not going to the park till you do your homework.
Right.
It's different when you say, I will be happy to take you to the park.
Right.
Instead of, as soon as you finish your homework. And so this was just great examples to use in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
This is just how to tame a great visual. I'm a visual person on how to tame the defiant child. So it kind of goes through everything we talked about today, just like using few words, don't get pulled into that argument. The empathy and the following through and changing your language. So this is available for you guys too. It's just a beautiful, it's got little examples in there, like when kids say, you can't make me, replying, I love you too much to argue, and just different examples, beautiful visual. And then these are some resources for you guys. You can go to loveandlogic.com. They have lots of information there. YouTube videos are wonderful. They're short, so you can watch a couple examples. And these books are wonderful. I mean, I have the teens one right now that I'm reading through and sharing with my husband, and we're talking about it, we're in a different part of parenting now, but they have the birth through 6 years for those who have the little ones. The middle one's just a great overall for all ages. And then the green is those teens, and great resources. And then, go ahead, Julie.
I was going to say, we appreciate you all coming here today and we were listening to our discussion. I want to encourage you all, again, like I said before, just kind of pick one thing that you want to try. If you're having an issue at home with, just try it and see how it works. This is one that you can use from a very young toddler, 1-year-old, up until those 19, 20-year-olds as of this last weekend. And I can really, again, as a parent, we all want our kids to learn to grow up, to be independent. As Kelly was saying, her daughter going off to college in a couple of years, high school now, deal with this as a high schooler. You want them to be able to be confident with their own decisions. And hopefully this good upbringing that is only going to help them. And I can say, as a parent myself, it is rewarding to see your young adults be able to thrive on their own. They've had to make their own choices. You're always there to help them and encourage them and guide them, but they've been empowered over the years to make those choices. All our handouts will be shared on the Google Drive. I will tell you there are a couple ladies in our community that are willing possibly to be doing a Love and Logic class, possibly next fall or this summer. We're interested in more of a type of a session, learning more about this in a several-week commitment. Please feel free to email us and we'll get more information regarding that to you. Again, I appreciate you all listening in today. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and we put extra handouts in here. If you go to that website, there's some on bedtime, if that's a struggle for you, or these one-liners in a certain situation. I think there's a potty training one on here that can help too. And the whole presentation is here. So you can go to this link that we sent you guys, and all this is here, and you can read up more about it. What's great is they're clip notes, so it doesn't take too long to read. That's all available. Like Julie said, we are two moms. We are teachers in the district, but we're also moms. We're not professionals at all, but we love and Logic, and we're here to help in any way we can. Our email addresses are there, and we appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.